Hello everyone, I'm Frank. Welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's easy level puzzle. And take that easiness with a grain of salt, because it's considered easy by the people on the Logic Masters Germany forum, and there's a lot of really smart people there. Today's puzzle is called Greener Grass by Palpot, and here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 in each row, column, and 3x3 box. Digits on the green grass have a value greater than exactly 2 of its orthogonally adjacent neighbors. And orthogonally adjacent just means that they share an edge. So every cell on the edge only has 2 orthogonally adjacent neighbors. So for example, this cell is next to, orthogonally adjacent to, these two cells. Actually, no, that's not true. Every corner cell has 2 orthogonally adjacent neighbors. Every other edge cell has 3 because it's, right, because this cell has 3 orthogonally adjacent neighbors. Similarly, this also has 3 orthogonally adjacent neighbors. And every non-edge cell has 4 orthogonally adjacent neighbors. So this one would have the 4 orthogonally adjacent neighbors are here. So the green grass says that 2 of its orthogonally adjacent neighbors, and exactly 2, has to be greater than. And there is no negative constraint. So therefore, there could be other places in this puzzle which satisfies this constraint of having being exactly greater than 2 of its orthogonally adjacent neighbors, but we are specifically given the information here that these are specifically greater than, or sorry, greater than exactly 2 of its orthogonally adjacent neighbors. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And actually, I'm going to post also, there's another link without the grass background, in case you get, in case it's sort of distracting for you. I kind of like it, so I'm playing with the grass background. But there will also be a link which will have a non-grass, the image not be so as blatant to you. And you can play along, but now I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay, so this then has to be greater than these two. So this is always greater than these two, which means this one also has to be greater than these two, and this one has to be greater than these two. So, okay, right, because this one is always, the digit in the green grass has a value greater than exactly 2 of its orthogonally adjacent neighbors. Well, this is always greater than this. So this will always be greater than these, which will always be greater, I don't know, make it orange, which will always be greater than, so this is not greater than this, so it must be greater than these two. This is not greater than this, so it must be greater than these two. This is not greater than this, so it must be greater than these two. This is not greater than both of these, so it must be greater than these two. And this is not greater than this, so it must be greater than these two. Well, this is also a grass, and it's not greater than these two, so it must be greater than these two. And similarly, this is not greater than these two, so it must be greater than these two. So this is always smaller than these two. What does that mean? That means this is always smaller than this, so this must be a 9. Right? Any other 9 would be greater than the next one, but it always means these two have to be less than this. These two have to be less than that. These two have to be less than that. These two have to be less than that. and these two have to be less than that, and these two have to be less than that. So these are, it's always, this is always interesting. So can 1 ever be anything but this? Well, if this is 1, this would have to be less, which is not possible. Yeah, these always have these two less. This is always 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 these two less. So this always has to be a 1. So these two are less. One of these has to be 8. Because none of these can be, all of these have 2 digits that it's less than, right? It's less than this, which must be less than that. So one of these is an 8. This could be 7, though. So any of these could be 7. Any of these, so one of these has to be a 2, right? Because it has to be, if it's here, it's greater than 2 digits, right? So these are kind of like thermometers, interestingly enough. This has to be greater than these two, which have to be greater than these two, which have to be greater than this. So this at least is a 6. So this is 6, 7, or 8, and this is 6, 7, or 8. This is less than both of these, so this cannot be 7. These 3 at least have 2 that it's greater. This has to have 2, 3 that it's greater than, so this has to be at least 4. And this has to have 2 that it's less than, so this is 4, 5, or 6. But these can be 3 through 7. And this could be 3 through 7, right? Because it has 2 specifically that it's greater than. It has to be greater than this, which has to be greater than that. This has to be greater than this, which has to be greater than that. So again, both of these, this has to be less than both of these, which are less than both of those, which is less than that. So it has to have 5 that it's less than. So therefore, this is at most 4. So this is 2, 3, or 4. This is 2, 3, or 4. This then, this has to be less than 2, 3, or 4. So this is 1, 2, or 3. This is less than 2, 3, or 4. So it's 1, 2, or 3. But this has 2 that it's greater than. Right? It has to have 2 digits that it's greater than. And we don't know which ones. But it has to be at least 2. So this has to be 3 because it has to be greater than 2 other digits. So this has to be greater than this. So this must be 4. Which means these can't be 4, and it can't be, this can't be 4. This has to be a 2, because that's the only possible place for the 2 anymore. This can't be 3 or 4, and this can't be 4. Well, where's the 3 in this box? It has to be here. So this is a 3. This cannot be 2 or 3, so this has to be 1, because it has to be less than this digit. This digit is less than this, but it can't be a 1, so it has to be 2 here. And this has to be less than this. One of these is a 5. We're not sure which. This has to be less than a 7. So this is 1 through 6. This can't be 3, 2, or 1, so this has to be higher than this, right? It's 4 through 9. Therefore, for this to be higher than 2 digits, it has to be both of these. So we're going to remove the coloring because we don't need that coloring here anymore. We know that these two then have to be the 2 and the 1, right? Because those are the only digits that are less than 3. So we can remove the coloring here. This is a 3. This is 1 or 2. This has to always be greater than these, right? Because 1 and 2 are the lowest digits possible in Sudoku. So this must be greater than that. And it's only greater than 2. So this one is less than this one. So this has to be, this can't be 9. And this can't be 9. So this is 8 at most, which makes this 7 at most also. This has to be at least 4. So this has to be at least 5 because this is always greater than this. So it's 4, 5, 6. This is 5, 6, 7, 8. The rest of these are 4 through 9. If any of these are 9, they would be next to, that's actually one interesting thing. Unless the grass is in the corner, 9 can never be on the grass. Actually, 8 can't be on the grass unless it's on an edge, right? If 9 is in the middle, it's greater than all 4 digits all 4 adjacent cells that it's next to. So 9 can never be in the middle in a... Similarly, 8 can't be in the middle, right? Because 8 can only be less than 9. I guess this could be like 9 and 9, so that's possible. But 9 cannot specifically not be on a grass cell anywhere unless it's in the corner. Or I guess it could be like here. So 9 could be here as long as because you could have... No, it can't be. It's always going to be greater than at least 3. So 9 cannot be on a grass cell unless it's in the corner. Because it's always going to be greater than every single adjacent cell, and it will only be next to 2 exactly adjacent cells, which is greater than in a corner. So therefore, none of these can be a 9. Whereas a 9 in this box, it has to be here. So this is a 9. So this is specifically not greater than this. We don't know anything else about this. This can't be a 9. So if this were 8, it would be greater than all 3 of those cells. So this cannot be 8 then. This can't be 8. This can't be 7. Because this has to be less than this. 8 would have to be next to a 9. So this could be next to a 9 also. So this could be 8. This could be next to, well, if this is an 8, it's higher than 2 digits, and then it would be higher than that digit, so this cannot be an 8, right? If this is an 8, this could be a 9, but it would be higher than 3 digits already, so that's not allowed. So this can't be 8. Well, where's the only place for an 8 in this box? It has to be here. So this is an 8. It's higher than this, and it's higher than this, so it must not be higher than this, which forces that to be a 9. This then can't be a 7, because then it would be higher than 3 digits, so this can't be 7 specifically. So one of these two is a 7. Well, if this were 7, it's possible. One of these two is a 7. I'm not sure which, though. This is 4, 5, 6, 7. This can't be 4. If this is 4, it would be lower than these 3, right? Because this would be 5, 6, or 7. This would be 5, 6. This would be 8. So this cannot be 4. Well, we now have a 5, 6, 7 triplet in box 2, which eliminates 5, 6, and 7 from the rest of the box. Therefore, this must be a 4. Okay. One of these 3 is a 4. If this is 5, this could be 6, and that could be 4. So that's still possible. So none of these can be 5, 6, or 7. So now we have the remaining digits are 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9. 9 obviously can't be any of these 3, and 1 and 2 can't be these 2 because of those. The remaining digits here are 1, 2, 3. Actually, that's not too helpful. Let's do the remaining digits here. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Oh, no, can't be 5, 6. So we have a 5, 6, 5, 6 pair in row 2, which eliminates 5 and 6 from the rest of the row. So this can't be 6. This has to then be 1, 2, and 7, 8, 9. Well, again, 9 cannot be on a grass cell that's not in the corner, so this can't be 9. And 8 cannot be in this space either, because if this is 8, it would be only one of these digits could be a 9. And actually, one of these two digits have to be a 9, right? So, but 8 would be greater than the other remaining 3 digits, so this can't be 8. And if it tried to be 1 or 2, the problem is that the 1 or 2 can never be higher than 2 unique digits, right? It can't be next to 2. 1 is the lowest, so 1 can never be there. Actually, yeah, 1 can't be on any grass cells either. 1 and 2 can never be on a grass cell. Unless it's on the edge, right? That's the only time. So this is in the middle, so this can't be 1 or 2, so this must be 7. So therefore, these can't be 7. This can't be 7. This must be 8, which means this can't be 8, which means this can't be 7. We have a 5, 6, 5, 6 pair in box 1, which eliminates 5 and 6 from the rest of the box, so this is 7. This can't be 7, and therefore this must be a 7. Well, this 7's higher than these two cells, so it cannot be lower. It cannot be higher than this one also, so this must be an 8, which means none of these can be 8. This 7 is next to a 9, and it's higher than this, and it's higher than the 1 or 2 that's on the other cell. So this then has to be an 8, because we already have 2 cells that it's higher than. The remaining digits here are 1, 2, and 3. So that's fine. One of these is a 3. This, again, well, it can't be 1, because 1 can never be on a grass cell. It could be 2, though. That's perfectly fine. What about this? This is not higher than this. This is not higher than this. Let's see what other things can be here. This has to be 3 through 7, but this can't be 3 and this can't be 4. This is 3 through 7, and this can't be 7. So if this were a 6, it would be higher than all 3 of the digits that are surrounding it, besides the 7. So this can never be 6. So one of these is a 6. And for the 6, if this were 4, it would be less than all 3 of these cells, which unfortunately then means it can't be a grass cell, because it needs 2 at least that it's greater than. So this has to be a 5, which makes this not a 5 and this not a 5. The 4, whichever the 4 is, so the 6 is always higher than the 5. The 4 is less than the 5 and the 7, so it has to be greater than these two. So the 4 has to be next to the 1 and 2, and not the 9. And it would be next to a 3 here. So one of these is a 3, which means this can't be 3 and this can't be 3, because one of these two has to be the corresponding 3. The 6 has to be next to a 9, right? Because the 4 has to be next to the 1 or 2 to be higher, to be greater than 2 unique cells that are orthogonally adjacent to it. So the 6 then has to correspond to the 9. The 6 is higher than the 5, but it's not higher than the 7 or the 9. So if this were 4, it's not higher than the 5 or 7, so it must be greater than this, which means it would be the 1, 2, and the 3. Similarly here, if this is 4, this is not greater than the 5, it has to be greater than 2, so it has to be next to the 1, 2, or 3. The 6 would be next to a 9 and a 7 here, so it would be greater than the 5, but it'd have to be greater than this other one, so it could not be 6 or 7 here. And if this were 6, it's only greater, this would also be next to a 9. It's only greater than the 5, so it would have to be greater than this cell too, which would be 6 or 7. So this is either 3 or it's 4, 5. Therefore, one of these is a 7. Not sure which. Okay. Either way, one of these is a 3. So 3 cannot be any of these cells because we have already a 3 being one of these and a 3 being one of these. So the 3 has to be one of these 3 cells. We're not sure which. Again, 1 can never be on a grass cell, so this can't be 1. If it's 9, again, it cannot be, unless it's in the corner, it cannot be on a grass cell. So this can't be 9. So this is 2, 3, or 4, and this is 2, 3, or 4. This, again, cannot be a 1. It can't be a 3. So this can't be a 1. So since this can't be a 1, this can't be 2 anymore, because if this were 2, it would have to be only greater than one of the ones here, and then it would have to be greater than another one here, which is not possible. So this cannot be 2. This is 3 or 4. This digit, if it were 6, would be higher than 3 digits. So this cannot be a 6. This must be a 5, which forces this to be 6, which makes that a 5, which makes that a 6. This 5 then is greater than this and this, so that works there. This 6 is already greater than these two, so this cannot be 1 or 2. So this must be the 9, which forces this to be the 1 or 2. And again, the 4 has to be next to the 1 or 2 to be greater than 2 digits. So this must be 4. This is 3. This cannot be 3. Therefore, this is a 3 here. And this has to be 6. This 5 is already greater than a 4. But it's not greater than 7 or 6. So it must be greater than another digit. So this is 4, which makes that 5. This then becomes a 6, 7 pair. This digit cannot be 1, 2. It cannot be 9. And it can't be 4, 5, 7, or 8 for what's left. So this must be a 6. So this is a 6. It's already greater than a 4. It must be greater than a 1 or 2. And this cannot be 1 or 2. The remaining digits here in this column have to be 5 through 9, and this can't be 5 or 6. So this is 7, 8, 9. One of these two has to be greater than it. The remaining digits here are 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9. So this can't be 7 or 8. This can't be 9. 8, if this were 8, it would have to be greater than both of these, because then this would be a 7, 9 pair, and these would both be 1 and 2. So this cannot be 8 here, because then similarly, if this is 7, this would be both 8 and 9, and therefore this would be greater than 1 and 2, which would be great. And again, 1 can never be on a grass cell, period. So this can't be 8, and it can't be 7, because again, both of these would have to be there for the 7, 8, or 9. So if this were 8, this would be 7, 9, and this would be 1, 2, 1, 2. And this cell would be greater than 3 adjacent, orthogonally adjacent cells. Similar, if this is 7, this is 8 or 9, and this is 1, 2, 1, 2. And again, this would be greater than 3 orthogonally adjacent cells. So this specifically must be 2, which means this can't be 2. This can't be 2. This can't be 9. So the 1 has to be one of these, and the 1 has to be one of these. This cannot be a 2 because of this 2. The remaining cells here are 1, 2, 3, and 9. 9 cannot be in... 1 and 9 cannot be in the middle cell. 2 can't be because 2 is only next to 1, 1. So this has to be 3 then. This can't be 3. This can't be 3. So the 2 has to be one of these 2. This again could be 1, 7, 8, or 4. This can't be a 1, because again, 1 can never be on a grass area. This is always greater than this. So it can only have one of these, which is greater than. So because it's only greater than one of these, we actually don't have that much information, so that's not helpful. This can't be 6 because of this 6, so this must be 7, which makes that a 6. What are the remaining digits here? They have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Well, this can't be 1 again, and this can't be 2. This can't be 2. Neither of these can be 3. If this were 7, it would be greater than 3 unique digits already orthogonally adjacent to it, so it cannot be 7, so it has to be 3, 4, 5. One of these 2 digits is a 1, so this can never be 1, right? Because either that's a 1 or that's a 1. Because one of these is a 1, but it can't be both 1s because of normal Sudoku rules. Therefore, this one of these 2 is a 1. What else do we have here? Oh, these can't be 4. That's interesting. The remaining digits here are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. This can't be 3. What about this? The 9 has to be here. The 8 has to be here. And 6 has to be one of these 3. Okay. Remaining digits here are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. But these can't be 1 or 7 here because of the 1, 7 in the box. Remaining digits here are 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. And it could be any of those. Remaining digits here are 2, 3, 5, 8, 9. And this can't be 2. Neither of these can be 6. Okay. These can't be 3. Remaining digits here have to be 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7, 8. Again, 1 can never be on... If this is 8, it would be next to 3 unique digits, which are less than it, so therefore this can't be 8. The 3 has to be next to a 1 and the 2, so this can never be 1 in this box. Okay, so since this can't be 1, because one of these is a 1, and the 2 has to be one of these, and the 3 has to be greater than both the 1 and the 2, and they have to be in orthogonally adjacent cells, this can't be 1, so this must be the 1 then. This has to be 1, because the 2 has to be greater than 2 cells, and only one of these is a 1. So this can't be 1, so this must be 9, which forces this to be 1 and 2. We now have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair in this box 9, so that means 1 and 2 cannot be in the rest of the box. Therefore, this must be 4, 7, and 8. This can't be 9. This can't be 7 or 8, so this is 5, 6, and 9. This has to be a 1, because the 2 has to be next to 2 1s. Well, this is already greater than both of these cells. So it must be less than this cell. So this can never be 1, can never be 1 or 2. This can't be 1 here, and this can't be 1 either. This can't be 1. Okay. If this were 2, there's only one 1 it could be next to, so this can never be 2 then. This is 4, 5, or 7. One of these is an 8, so it cannot be greater than that one. Okay. This could actually still be 2, 3, or 4. Oh, this is always less than this, right? Even if this is 4, this has to be 7 or 8. So, okay, so then this, actually, this is always greater than this, which is 1 or 2. It's always greater than this, so it must be less than this. So this cannot be 8, and this cannot be 4. This is always less than this, so it must be greater than these two. Therefore, this can't be 4 or 9. Oops. This can't be 4 or 9. Well, where's the 9 now in column 6? It has to be here. So this is a 9. This is less than this, so it cannot be 5, 6, or 7. So this is 1, 2, or 3. Okay, what else do we have? These can't be 9. If this is 3, it's less than these two, and it has to be greater than this. Which would make that a 1, 2. Ah. But the problem is this has to be 1, 2, or 3. So if this becomes a 3, this would have to be 1 or 2. But then we would have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair, which eliminates 1 and 2 from the rest of the column. So this couldn't be 1 or 2, and the 3 would eliminate the 3. So therefore, that would eliminate all possibilities for that cell. So this can never be 3. This has to be a 5. Which means these can't be 5. This can't be 5. This can't be 5, and this can't be 5. Only one of these can be a 7. Right? So the other one, it's greater than. And it's greater than 1 already. So therefore, this has to be less than whatever this is. So this cannot be 1, 2, or 3. This has to be less than this, and it's less than one of these. So therefore, this can never be 7. One of these is greater than the 5. We know 3 has to be one of these two because 3 cannot be here. So these two can't be 3. Hmm. The 5 has to be one of these 3. Hmm. Okay, what else do we have here then? So this is essentially done because it's less than this and it's greater than this and it's greater than this. This is essentially done because it's less than this and it must be greater than both of these. This is essentially done. It's less than this and it's greater than one of these and it's greater than here. This is done because this must be less than that and it's greater than this. So we just have that one left then. So it's just this one. If it's 4, that would make this 2 and 7, which would mean, so if this is 4, that would make this 3, 2, and 1. This 4 would also make that 7, which would force this to be 5 and 8 next to it. So it would not be greater than either of those. This would be 1, 2, and 3. So this would have to be 6 or 7, which would not be greater than also. So that's 3 orthogonally adjacent cells, which would not be greater than, and so this cannot be 4. If it's 7, this would then be 5 and 8 next to it. This would be 6. This would be 1 or 2. This would then have to be less than this, which would be 8 or 9. Hmm. So again, if this is 7, this has to be 6. This has to be one of 1 or 2. And the 7 would make that a 4. So this would be 5, 8, 5, 8. So one digit would be, it would be greater than, the other digit it would be less than. This digit would be greater than, so it would have to be less than this. The 7 would force this to be 8, so therefore this would have to be a 9. That does work. So if that's 7, this becomes 6. This is 1 or 2. This is 1, 2, or 3. This is 2 or 3. This is 5 and 8, so that's fine. This can't be 9 here. These can't be 9. So if this is 5, though, it could be only greater than 2. That seems fine. Okay. If this is 7, this then becomes 6. This has to be 7. Then this becomes 1 or 2. And we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair here. Well, which would make that 3, which would make that 2, which would make that 1. And this would have to be 4. If this is 5, we don't know. if we have a 5, we have an 8 above it, right? Or 8 surrounding it. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, the problem is what if it's a 5? If this is a 5, it could be one of these is 8. The problem. Oh, this is a 6 or 7. One of these is 8, but where is the other 6 or 7? It has to be one of these 3 orthogonally adjacent cells. So therefore, it would have 2 cells that it's greater, one cell that's greater than only, and 2 cells that it's less than. Which would mean this would have to be greater than this cell. So if this is a 7, this has to be a 9. If this is 5, then it has to be a 2. Um, Either way, this can never be a 2 then. So if this is 7, this becomes 6. This becomes 1 or 2. We have 1, 2, 1, 2 pair, which forces that to be 3, which makes that a 2. So this would be 1. If this is 5, this would then have to be 2 because we'd have an 8 next to it and 1 out of 6 or 7 next to it. So only one of these would be less, so this would have to be less. So in either way, this cannot be 2 here. Um, so if this is 5, this could be 1, or it could be 6 or 7. We don't know. Um, this could be 6. Hmm. If this is 3, this is 2 and 1, obviously. So this becomes 6, 7, 6, 7. This is 5. And this becomes 4, 8, 4, 8. Oh. So if this is 3, this becomes 2, 1. This becomes 6, 7, 6, 7 pair, which forces that to be 3. But this 3 would make that 2, so this would be 4. This would be 3, and this would be greater than 3 digits. So this can never be 3. So this has to be 4, which makes that a 7, which makes that 8, which makes this a 4. So this cannot be 4. We have a 2, 3, 2, 3 pair. One of these is a 4. This can't be 4. Neither of these can be 4. This can't be 7. This can't be 7. Huh. This can't be 3. Oh. How did I miss that the whole time? This can't be 3, so this must be 2, which makes that a 3. Which makes that 7, this is 4, this is 2. Which makes that 6, which makes that 1. This has to be 3 then. This can't be 2, so this must be 9. This can't be 1, so this is 2, which makes that a 1. Yeah, I don't know. I think I missed this 3 because of the grass, actually. I didn't see the 3 from the grass, so... That's an argument to be made to not have the grass there. This is 5, 7, 8. If this were 7, it would be... If it's 5, it would be less than 3 digits. So this could not work. So this has to be 7. Which makes this a 5, 8 pair here. This can't be 8 or 9. No 9 here, no 9 here. This can't be 7, so this is 8, which makes that 7. That makes this a 5. This makes that 4, which makes that 9. That 4 means this has to be 6. This can't be 4 or 6, so this is 3 or 8. This can't be 5, this can't be 5. This can't be 3 because of this 3. This can't be 9. This can't be 1 or 7. This can't be 4 or 6, so this must be 5, which makes that 6, which makes that 4. This 6 makes that a 5, which makes that a 9. None of these can be 4 or 5. This can't be 6, so this must be a 1, which makes that a 7. None of these can be 4 again. This can't be 9. This can't be 6. Well, where is the 6 then? This can't be 1, so this is 2, which makes this 1. This 2 means this can't be 2, so this is 8, which makes that 3, which makes that a 2. This 3 means that's an 8, which makes that a 3, which makes that a 6. This can't be 5, so this must be an 8, and this is a 5. Huh, sorry, it took me a little longer because I just could not see this 3, eliminating that possibility. And that would have made things much quicker. Anyways, yeah, I'll definitely post the non-grass version because it looks like the grass version is harder to see. It's still pretty cool. Nice having the background, but I guess the grass is always greener. And I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.